condolences about my dog Belle, the Wonder Pup. She was a really, really great dog, and I still can't believe she's gone. She was 11 years old. Life expectancy for a boxer and a Boston Terrier is about 12 years, and she's 11 years, 1 month. And she had a stroke. She had 2 strokes, and that's all she wrote. And I'm devastated, or at least I was devastated, a little bit depressed, but again, death is a part of life. That's one thing we got to accept. Death is a part of life, and you move on. But the good thing is we know all dogs go to heaven. She was a great dog, but I thank you guys for the well wishes and the condolences, because when you're a single man, and just like most men and boys, our dogs are everything. They're our best friends. And I'm not saying, women and girls don't love their dogs as much, but the stereotypical trope is a boy and his dog, right? And where I'm at in life, I'm divorced twice, and my kids are grown, and she's all I got. I have 4 cats. 4 cats. Really, I have 2 cats and 2 strays that ended up staying, decided to move in. And so I guess I got 4. But cats are a little bit different than dogs. I love cats just as much. As a matter of fact, I actually love cats more because, I can leave and cats can take care of themselves at the end of the day. But I'm going to miss her. I mean, I haven't gathered her stuff up yet. It's just hard to believe that she's gone. But life goes on. So, I'm a little depressed, but just give me some time. All right, let's get to the meat and potatoes of everything. As you guys have heard, South Carolina, Joe Biden wins South Carolina, 96% of the vote. We're desperate. The Democratic Party is desperate, you guys. They are in full panic mode. And how do I know that, and how can I say that? It's basically like this. And, I just want you guys to understand. There's almost 3 million registered, a little over 3 million people registered in the Democratic Party in South Carolina. Only 4% of those people that were registered actually showed up to vote. This is the primary, you guys. The primary. What do you think is going to happen in the general election? But yet, the Democratic Party doesn't seem that there's a problem. But see, this goes back to what I was telling you guys about the 2-party system. It doesn't matter if the Democrats get in there or the Republicans get in there. They share power equally. You have it for a few years, we have it for a few years. You have it, I have it. You have it, I have it. And as long as we don't give black people nothing, everything is good. We give everybody else something. But what they don't understand is politics is about power, and black people are now seeing what the Democratic Party is doing outright and in the open in supporting these migrants. You're putting illegal people over your own citizens. That's a recipe for disaster. The Republicans aren't doing this. This is Democratic policy. This is Democratic policy. And the sad thing in South Carolina when I was watching it is the fact that you saw the old civil rights retreads defending Joe Biden, talking about he's for the people, but they can't articulate what Joe Biden has done positively for the people, much less if they even know what he's done to the detriment of black people. It's scary. It is scary. That is a generation, and I've said before, a very selfish generation that is not thinking about the generations behind it. What is the point of doing all of this stuff only to shit on the generation behind you and make it harder for them? The problem is the baby boomers are now realizing they are now in their 70s in general, and the party's over. The issues and the party's over. The bad advice that they've given the next generation, the selfishness, the outright selfishness, the inclusion theory. Oh, if I could just move into a white neighborhood, everything's going to be better. If I can just go to a white school, everything will be better. Well, is it? Why is it that the generations after the civil rights generation, we are no better off than before the civil rights? They had, way more stuff than we do. The American dream for the millennials and Generation Y is non-existent. They can rent it, but they can't buy it. They can rent it, but they can't buy it. That's the future. But we're letting all these other people over here, and they are coming over here and skipping the line ahead of us. You had a California task force that put out a report, and if you read the report on the reparations task force, because so goes California, so goes the rest of the nation, so they say. But if you look at the task force and you read the report, it's not specific to Black people. You guys have got to understand, reparations can only be a cash payment. They didn't go to the Asians and say, hey, we're going to give you dry cleaners. We're going to give you land. We're going to give you free education. We're going to give you housing. No, it has to be cash reparations. And you got some Negroes out here that will fight tooth and nail and say, no, we can get education. We can get loan forgiveness, whatever. Well, what if I don't have student loans? What if I already have an education? What if I already have a house? What if I've already got a car? So if that is what reparations is, then I'm being denied my reparations. So it could only be cash reparations. Who are you to tell me what I need to do with my money? Cash reparations, if I want a house, I can buy a house. If I want a car, I can buy a car. If I need a higher education, I can buy a higher education. It can only be cash. Do not be fooled by anything else. But before we get into it, before we really get into it, because I kind of forgot this, you guys, please check out the African Diaspora News Channel app. Download it on Google Play and the Apple Store. Download it. You can see great videos with Dimitri K, Brother Phil Scott, Vicky Dillard, Juan Gale, and a whole host of hosts that will bring information that dealing with the African diaspora. That's where I get a lot of my information, and it's mind-blowing. It's mind-blowing to find out some of the very problems that we have here, they're having in Africa. But the difference is they have people that look like them that are screwing them over. But at the same time, the majority of the wealth in those countries is controlled by a small group of white people, which is basically what we have here in the United States. I guess it's 5% of the wealthy control 95% of the wealth in the United States, something like that. Same thing. So please go and download the African Diaspora News app and get that great information. That's where I get a lot of information when it comes to great videos. Philip Scott, Dimitri K, they're doing a great job over there. And I've been following Philip Scott since he started. Started with the shower curtain, so I remember that. So way back in the day, the early parts of the internet. And again, he didn't really inspire me per se, but I saw his vision and I kind of was like, yeah, that's the kind of route I'm going to go when I get out of the military. Because when I was in the military, I couldn't really do a lot of stuff because, you're kind of censored in what you do because you represent the military. So your views have to be kind of muted and all that other stuff. So anyway, 96% overwhelming victory by Joe Biden, which is not true. 4% of the electorate in the Democratic primary came out to vote, and he won. Out of the 4% of people that voted, he won 96%, which goes to show that people sat it out. And I'm proud of the people in South Carolina. Just like the people in Louisiana, you've had enough. You've had enough. A lot of you guys are going into recovery. I'm proud of you guys because, like I said, it's going to take some time. I've been in recovery for over 20 years, and not a day goes by that I don't pull for the Democratic Party and doing the right thing for my people, because the majority of people of Black descent vote Democrat. We're the only group that votes as a block. But if you're reading the tea leaves like you're supposed to be reading the tea leaves, it doesn't look good for the Democrats. It doesn't look good. You know, I sit and I wonder how in the hell, especially when it comes to Black women that are mothers and things, how in the hell these representatives of the people could actually sit there with a straight face and deliver nothing for their people. Where is the unapologetic Black representatives that are going to hold the line and be uncompromising? Oh, we got the squad. Oh, they're going to do this. Oh, Black girl magic. Yeah, the problem is men and the patriarchy. But if we get women and we elect women in there, things are going to be different. Hello? Are things different? Are things different? Now, I'm not blaming the women in general, but the trope of electing Black women into leadership positions, representative positions, is going to change our lives. We gave it a try. Has anything changed? Absolutely not. Symbolism is what we get. How many of you guys remember the actress Janet, what's her name? Jennifer Lewis. Tangi Brown, she's gonna go to the Supreme Court. Cooning on a high scale level. Tangi Brown, you know, like this woman is Moses. What has Tangi Brown done since she's been on the Supreme Court? This is a lady that is a total embarrassment. She can't even define what a woman is. Simple question. What's a woman? Well, I don't understand the question. What? I'm not sure where you want me to go. How do you want me to answer the question? What is a woman? I'm very sure Ketanji Brown identifies as a woman. She's married to a man, I think. Total embarrassment. Total embarrassment, you guys. So yeah, I don't want you guys to be fooled. I want you guys to hold the line when it comes to the Democratic Party. Recently in Nevada, that was today, Joe Biden won overwhelmingly in Nevada, unopposed. How do we say we're a republic, a representative government, and we hold no primaries? If Joe Biden is doing such a great job, why can't he stand in a debate and defend it? Why can't he do that? What's he afraid of? What's the Democratic Party afraid of? No, they're going to tell us when we're supposed to be the bosses, and we're supposed to tell them what's happening and how it's going to go down. You guys, the fear mongering, you have nothing to fear but fear itself at this point if you're a Black person in America. If you're an ADOS leaning or identifying Black person, you are at the bottom of the social and economic scale. You're at the bottom. You have nothing to lose at this point. We've been telling you guys for years that if we do not change how we vote, if we do not change the dynamics of how we are dealing with politics, we're going to be at the bottom, and now we're here. The reality is we're here. They've stolen our wealth. They're gentrifying our neighborhoods. Now they're bringing in illegal people to replace the vote. The Democratic Party keeps telling you and fear-mongering you that the vote is at stake. The vote is at stake. No, the vote is not at stake. If you have an ID and you can legally, and you're a legal citizen of the United States, and you're not a felon and you didn't get your rights reinstated, you can vote. The issue with the migrants is they can't vote, but their children that are born here will. And that is going to be the difference to eradicate the black vote in general. The Asians are the smallest group in the United States, but yet they're the richest. Why don't they have a problem with it? Because when you got money, money speaks, everything else walks. Black people have money, but like my compadre Dimitri K says, we spend 97% giving it away. It's very alarming. But one thing about me, I'm a realist, you guys. I don't like to fake the funk, okay? I'm not one to tell people what they should do with their money, because you got those old Negroes that will say, well, if you give the Negroes reparations, they're just going to give it right back to the white man and spend it, okay? And then that means you need to be smart enough to start a business to get some of that money that they're going to spend with the white man and get it for yourself. We're not all going to be foolish with the money. Something to think about. Something to think about. Yeah, it's getting bad out here, you guys. Black representation. How many of you guys have read the Communist Manifesto? How many of you guys have read that? I have a bunch of buddies for the last 2 years, 3 years. They've been stockpiling weapons. They've been stockpiling ammunition, because what happened in 2000, if you believe it or not, has caused a crisis in the United States. And January 6th sent a message in regards to white representation and what white people expect from their representatives. Now, I'm not a Donald Trump supporter, because Donald Trump was a lifelong Democrat. But he's still a white man. This gun control stuff, you don't see the Republicans pushing gun control. You don't see them doing that. The Democrats are pushing gun control. The Democrats are pushing women's rights, a right to kill your children. The destruction of the nuclear family, LGBTQ rights. Republicans aren't doing that, because it's a very destructive policy in regards to the very people that you're supposed to represent. Most people don't want this stuff. In a representative government of democracy, it's supposed to be majority rule, not minority rule. And if you don't like the laws that are passed here in the United States, go somewhere else. It's that simple. Go somewhere else. Just like the Constitution said, it's farther out west. Just keep moving farther out west. That's what you can do. So it's getting pretty bad out here, you guys. And I'm a big advocate, and I don't know what's going to happen in the next election. I want you guys to think about this. Let's say Donald Trump wins re-election. Let's just say, hypothetically, he wins re-election. Joe Biden says, what do we do? What do we do if that scenario happens? And then I want you to imagine MAGA defending the election results. How do you think they're going to defend those results? The reason why I'm bringing that up, because I want you guys to understand this. If you're going to understand anything like that, especially in the black community, 70% of black households are helmed by women. Okay? And I talk to my lady friends all the time. The single ones, for whatever reasons, I don't give a damn. Whatever your reasons, you are single. You need to arm yourself to defend your family. You cannot depend on your father, who lives 2 hours away. When this thing pops off, he's going to come and have to defend you. And I just hear the sheer ignorance in our community. We've got money for weed. We got money for liquor. We got money for hair. We got money for drugs. We got money for nails. We got money for all the stupid stuff, but we don't have the money that we need for practicality. Can I say that? Practicality. What is going to stop somebody from pushing into your door, black woman, and you don't have no man for coverage? That's what I worry about. As we know, for the nation, 50% of all homelessness is black people. How is that possible in a nation of almost we're over 300 million people? How is it that black people who supposedly make up 14% of the population could be 50% of the homeless? If that doesn't tell you there's a genocide going on, what other proof do you need just by the generic numbers they're throwing out there? Out of the 50%, if that's true, 50% of the evictions or homeless people are black, who is leading in the eviction process across the United States? Black women and their families. What is the fastest growing rate of group of people that are being incarcerated? Black women. I'm concerned. Because feminism has warped our black women's mind and has created in these girls' minds that their man is the enemy. Black women are perfect, but they expect the black man to be perfect. No person is perfect. You know, every time I talk to some of my lady friends and they talk about, men and, the toxic masculinity and all this other stuff, right? And I always ask them, were you in an abusive relationship? Well, no, I wasn't in an abusive relationship. Oh, you saw a movie. You saw a movie. You saw a movie. I got it. You just saw The Color Purple, right? I always tell people, a lot of women 80 years ago were getting their asses beat because that was the culture. You can't take what is considered correct there and put it here by our value system. It's not the same thing. We are right now living in a Pizarro world. These women pick and choose the little things that they want, but they don't take the whole context of what it's supposed to be. And I'll give you an example. Even if you go back to the early 20th century, where women were, let's say the Color Purple time, early 20th century, 1920s, early 1900s, whatever. Even if you take that context, and the culture was what it was, has the patriarchy changed from then till now, where we're at now? Has the responsibility of a man to provide for his family and be responsible changed from then till now, or even from the inception of this country and even farther back then till now? Is the man held accountable for things that go on in his household from then till now? The patriarchy hasn't changed. The matriarchy has changed, very much so. But the patriarchy hasn't changed. Men are held accountable for what they do. We've got laws in the child support system that hold men accountable. But notice, when a woman does paternity fraud, is she held accountable in general? Never. But in that scenario, a man who is not the father could be deemed financially responsible for a child that he had nothing to do with in making. How is that fair? So my point is, did you see what I'm saying? A man is always held accountable for his actions, no matter what he does. But women saying that masculine toxicity is the problem, but the matriarchy wants the man to be traditional, but at the same time, they don't want to be traditional. How does that work? You're demanding a man to do this, 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 and this, and be a man. But at the same time, you could be free and fancy footloose. It doesn't work that way, ladies. It doesn't work that way. If that's the case, why can't I be married and have a girlfriend at the same time, or even have 2 wives? Oh no, we can't do that. Feminism has destroyed the black family. It literally has destroyed the black family. And I'm going to tell you, those of you that have children, you mothers, and I'm going to tell you even worse than this. I have a buddy that has daughters, and he was telling his daughters that if the man that she gets with doesn't treat her like her daddy, then he ain't no good of a man and she don't need him. I had to correct him. Not in front of her, but me and him were talking. And I said, that's the most bullshit thing I've ever heard. What you mean, man? Anybody gonna go get with my daughters and can't treat her the way, her daddy can treat her? I said, are you fucking your daughter? Are you fucking your daughters? Because that's the relationship that I'm kind of picking up in what you're saying. A father is supposed to do those things for his daughter that he's supposed to do as a father. Provide for her, cover her, protect her. But her relationship with the man that she is going to build a family with is totally different than the relationship with her father. He never thought about it that way. I said, unless you're screwing your daughter, and I hope that's not the case, her relationship with the guy that she's going to be building with is going to be different. He's sleeping with her. They have physical and emotional ties that are totally different than the ties she has with her family. He never thought of it that way. He never thought of it that way. Most likely, she's going to get with a young man that is just starting out in life and can't provide the things a 50, 60, 45, 50-year-old father can provide. He never thought of it that way. I even asked him, I said, because he's divorced like me. I even asked him, I said, the relationship that you have with the woman that you're with, is it the same relationship that she has with her father? No. Exactly. It's totally different. The expectations are totally different. Come on. You're raising your daughters wrong. So I'm going to tell a lot of you fellas out there that come with that bullshit. You guys are sitting here screwing all these women, cheating on your girlfriends, wives, whatever it is, and then you're putting a false connotation in your daughters' heads and how they should be treated. And you ain't nowhere near the expectation that you have of a man to treat your daughter. Stop it. Stop it. You're out here screwing in any and everything, and you expect some young man to treat your daughter in a way that you ain't treating some other man's daughter. How is that fair? So a lot of you girl dads out there, you fathers that have daughters, stop giving them the wrong information and giving them the real information from a real man's perspective. Give them that perspective. They would have a better chance. But you're not doing that. And all you bitter mamas, you leave your relationship because you let your girlfriends talk you out of it, or you see something on Facebook or the internet that isn't true, and you want to live that life. Stop it. Stop it. You're in competition with the same pool of men your teenage daughter is dating. I have a friend right now who is leaving her marriage and she's a grandmother, and she just wants out. It isn't what she thought, whatever the deal is. Okay. So I asked her, I said, well, why are you leaving? Well, he just doesn't want to do this, and he doesn't want to go on trips, whatever. But you knew that about it ain't like he sprung that on you. You knew that about the man. You guys have children together. You've been together forever, blah, 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 blah. You know, he's one of those guys that just wants to work, come home, and do the bare minimum. Because, you know, she tries to say, you know, they don't go on trips. They do go on trips. They just don't go as often as she would like. But in this woman's mind, she actually thinks at 46 years old, she still has the goods to compete with younger women. Now, as a friend, I told her, I said, do you really want my honest opinion? And she's an attractive woman. She is. A man, you are fuckable. Trust me, a guy will fuck you. But to get married or to be in a relationship with you, these streets, there's nothing in these streets. There's nothing in these streets. As a man, I told her, you left your marriage not because the man wasn't a provider, not because the man was beating on you, not because the man had like some drug problem that, you know, you just couldn't, you know, some kind of addiction. You left because you wanted to do what you see on social media. Social media is destroying relationships, especially in the Black community, because we are so easily influenced. It's so sad. It's so sad. I'm sitting here trying to tell this woman, and I'm a man, and I'm a divorced man, single man. And I know a lot of my friends are like, oh, well, Donovan's out here. He's living that life, and he's going over here, he's going over there. There's nothing in these streets. Not at my age. You've got a lot of damaged women, and I can speak for myself. There are a lot of damaged women out here that are out here. And maybe I'm a damaged person too. And, you know, I'm a damaged person. Like I said, was in war. I got PTSD. Got a lot of issues, right? I got leukemia. I got a lot of issues, right? So I'm not going to sit here and say I'm perfect, but I'm a man. So I can still compete in the market in general. But a 46-year-old woman, 4 children, grandmother, she thinks she still has what it takes to compete against 20-something-year-old women for the same pool of men. Let's face it, you guys, the men that a lot of you women want, they're already married. And they're not going anywhere. I'm 53 years old. I'll be 54 this year. And let me tell you guys something. With, you know, the medical issues that have come down and the things that I have to go through, I'm going through this shit by myself. And I wouldn't wish this on my worst enemy. And I'm going to be honest with you guys. I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. We are not supposed to grow old by ourselves. We're not. Now, if I could find me somebody, great. But let's be honest, I'm a man. If I had a choice between dealing with a 50-something-year-old woman, and maybe she's out there, but like I said, that's like looking for a diamond in the rough, a needle in a haystack that I can fall in love with, that is feminine, fit, and friendly. That's, you know, you're dealing with a woman that has just as much experience as I do in life. And when a woman that is independent and has that kind of experience, there's going to be clashes because I'm an alpha male. See, so I know that about myself. But if I had a choice between a 50-something-year-old woman and a woman that's younger, in her 40s, I'm going to take the woman that's in her 40s. Of course I am. Of course. It's been like that since the beginning of time. What makes these women, these feminists, think that they can change what God, if you believe in religion, what God put in place? It's been like that since the beginning of time. When an older woman, I guess this girl from Drea Michelle from Basketball Wives, allegedly she is pregnant by a 21-year-old basketball kid. Notice nobody says predator. Nobody says these derogatory things when a woman does it. But when a man does it, it's creepy. It's predatory. It's this, it's that, it's this. Even though it's been going on since the beginning of time. If she's above 18, there's nothing wrong with it. She is legal to do what she got to do. And unfortunately, ladies, let's be real. When you were in high school, a lot of you ladies didn't want to deal with the boys in high school because we were more immature than you were, because most women mature faster than boys. And you guys were dating older men. And now you're offended that guys like myself, who have matured and whatever, we don't want to deal with you who was dealing with Ray Ray and Pookie and Nook Nook in your younger years and have kids from those dudes, and we don't want to select you. It's crazy. It's crazy stuff out here, you guys. But I just want to tell a lot of my lady friends out there, and I'm going to be honest with you guys. I'm a single man. Don't get me wrong. You know, I go out there, I have fun, and, you know, I do what I do as a man. I try to keep myself up the best I can. I still got most of my teeth. You know, the hair is gone, but I don't really care about the hair. I shave my head. I don't really care anymore. I'm going to tell you, ladies, if you are married or in some kind of relationship, and it's a positive relationship, it might be boring, but it's a positive relationship. There's nothing out here in the streets that you want to deal with. I'm telling you, it's not worth it. It is not worth breaking your family up. The stuff that you see on social media is not true. Those people are not living those lives. They're not. You're risking your life getting a BBL that you don't need. You ask most dudes that want to start a family, they don't want that. They don't. I don't want people looking at my wife like she's some kind of sideshow freak. No, that's not wife material. I'm being real with you guys. You ask the average guy that's got their stuff together if they want a woman that looks like a 304. They don't want that. That's not somebody you want to walk up to the parent-teacher conference with. They don't want it. Oh, boy. But anyway, you guys, that's just something that's on my mind. I'm very proud of the people in these elections. Black people are waking up, even though I'm not saying it's too late, but social economically, it's too late. We are at the bottom, and we are now a permanent underclass. But that's us as a whole, as a group. Yes, individual of us, we're going to do okay. Some of us that got it, we're going to be okay. But if you take us as a whole in general, we're at the bottom. And like my mom said, when you're at the bottom, the only other place to go is up. So we can turn this around. And what I think we need to do to turn this around is, think about this, you guys. Why are you going to wait to pass down your legacy to the next generation? A lot of my friends right now, they got these big houses that they bought, and now they want to downsize the homes, right? Because it's too big. The kids are grown. They're too old. They can't go up and down the stairs. Okay, that's fine. But why not just pass the house down to the next generation and keep it in your family, put it in a trust, whatever you need to do. But at this point in the Black diaspora, we need to come together as a community, as family, and bring everybody home. It doesn't make any sense that this person's over here working and paying rent over here. This person's over here paying rent over here. This, when you've got this big 5-6 bedroom home, bring the kids back in, let them enjoy it. And since you've got the money, whatever, you and your old lady go get you an RV, whatever, and go travel the United States. Let your kids have the legacy while you're alive. That would make more sense. That would help them more. Maybe they don't want to live there. Maybe they don't want to. But the point is, keep the house. Keep the property. Big Mama keeps dying, and we keep selling these properties because we don't know any better, and we're getting pennies on the dollar. We have to stop selling our wealth. We need to keep our wealth and come together as a family. Bring the family in. You baby boomers, you older generation people, bring the family in so that they can have a future and they can save up something. Yeah, I know you don't care till after you're dead, but the point is, why not enjoy your legacy with your kids, knowing that you did the right thing while you're alive? Why not do that? Wouldn't that be more beneficial? Being with your grandkids, helping the family out while your kids work, and you're at the house anyway, and you're there at the end of the day, since these kids are working 12-hour days, and the kids that are in grade school could come home in somebody's home and cooking them meals and doing those things that we used to do. We got to get back to that, because that's what saved us. This individual feminism. Oh, girl, get your own, whatever. Ladies, you're failing. You're failing. It ain't working. You're failing. If you're in the mindset you need to downsize, no, don't downsize. Bring your family home, especially if they're renters. Rent keeps going up, rent keeps going up, rent keeps going up. Those kids are going to come home eventually anyway. Be proactive, not reactive. I got to thank my mom for letting me enjoy my legacy now. I've been enjoying my legacy for 12 years. Yes, I could go and get my own home. Yes, I can go and get all this other stuff, but no. The very house my mom bought next to the air base is the house that I occupy now. And my mom is a little older, and it makes no sense for her to be where she's at her age, when she could come over here and we could all share in the expenses here, and everybody benefits. Everybody benefits. That's the whole point. That's how these other groups are making it. When I see a bunch of Mexicans and there's 8 trucks in front of their houses, that's at least 3 generations. I know there's 3 generations living in there. And they're pooling their resources together and renovating the house, buying other homes, and doing all these other things. They're sticking together. And Black people, we invented that blue book, that book. We got to get back to it. Stop with the feminism. Stop with the BS. You got money for weed, you got money for nails, you got money for all the things. Ladies, look, before I go, let me just say this before I go. I would rather pay 50% of 100 than 100% of 100. Think about it. All right, you guys, I'm Donovan Saadiq. It's been great talking to you guys. Proud of the people in South Carolina. You did a great job. Continue doing it. The Democrats need to lose power for a few election cycles before they start respecting the black vote and we can get those reparations. You guys be safe out there. Have a nice day. California will dry out. That storm has passed. I'm Donovan Saadiq, the recovering Democrat. Love you guys.